Judkins is a landfill site near Nuneaton. Originally a quarry, it now takes mainly household, industrial and commercial waste. The site is within 30 metres of residential housing, which means special care has to be taken when tipping the waste.
We're on the operational landfill. This is where wastes are received, compacted, buried and covered. You can see this going on here. There's sufficient cover materials here to cover those wastes. Initially the wastes are compacted with the compactor that you can see operating ahead.
With a landfill site this close to where people are living, all operating procedures are closely monitored.
Once the landfill site is operating, there are a huge number of checks that go on a daily basis. They're usually detailed in the site licence, so there are detailed conditions that you've got to comply with. The sorts of checks would be from the waste coming in the gate. You've got to check that the paperwork actually records properly the waste that is in the vehicle. You've got to record where that is being deposited.
Thank you, John. See you later. See ya.
The monitoring is carried out, as on all landfill sites, not only by the owners, but independently by the Environment Agency. Strict monitoring for the migration of leachates is essential. Leachates that accumulate above the liner at the base of the landfill can be pumped out and taken away by tanker for treatment in a sewage disposal works. For any surface water contaminated by small concentrations of leachate, they've developed an alternative treatment.
We're at the reed bed development, which are basically two large beds planted with a reed called Phragmites australis. What we basically do here is bring up contaminated water and a more dilute type of leachates, feed them into these beds here. The reeds basically draw off the ammonia element of that leachate and contaminated water down to a suitable level where we can discharge that then to a local water course, which is the Coventry Canal, under current discharge consent. And this is it, the final discharge point of our treated effluents done by the reed beds. This is routinely checked by our own environmental department and randomly checked by the Environment Agency for compliance with our current discharge consent.
The other undesirable byproduct is landfill gas. Composed of methane and carbon dioxide, it not only has an unpleasant smell, it's also a powerful greenhouse gas. Methane is 65 times more potent a greenhouse gas than an equal mass of carbon dioxide. But as a combustible gas, methane can also be put to good use.
Landfill gas is constantly being produced from the degradation of waste in the active landfill. This we can tap into by using vertical pipes. We draw off this gas and we bring it into this power generation compound. What we do here then is compress it, filter it, dewater it, and we run the gas into two gas reciprocating engines. These are currently producing 1.9 megawatts of power, of which we're selling back to the grid under the non-fossil fuel obligations, tranches 3 and 4. 1.9 megawatts is sufficient to provide power to just under 2,000 residential homes.
The EU directive will require a substantial reduction in the amount of biodegradable waste going to landfill. This should also reduce the amount of landfill gas produced as the waste decomposes.